It all began in the early 1930s, and these comedies, with their emphasis on making the rich look silly, were an escapist comfort to audiences during the Great Depression. Also, around this time, the production code was being established, which banned explicit content. So, writers and directors became cleverer and sneakier, using dialogue and banter between the male and female characters to suggest sexual chemistry. This gave actors and actresses a chance to shine equally and led to several wonderful pairings between stars. In tonight's lineup, we have 4 screwball comedies starring either Cary Grant or Katherine Hepburn, or both. And we're starting with one featuring both, Bringing Up Baby, directed by Howard Hawks from 1938.
Hello, and welcome to Book versus Movie, the podcast where we read books that have been adapted into movies, and then we try to decide which we like better, the book or the movie. And today we have a very special returning guest host, Carola Hubbard. Yay! I'll do the Kermit the Frog.
Thanks for having me again, Margo.
Thank you for coming back again. That intro was, if you thought you were listening to the wrong show, that intro was the Turner Classic Movies intro to a night of screwball comedies, starting with Bringing Up Baby. And a little bit of background there. I did not know that Cary Grant was their 5th choice for this movie.
No, he was perfect.
So we're going to get into it. It is adapted from a short story. We'll be talking about that in a moment. But before we get to that, thank you for being here. If you have not joined us on Facebook, we have a lovely little Facebook group where we talk about books and movies and nice things. We thought this has been a very heavy year, long time. It's been a while. It's been a heavy time. And so we thought it would be fun to do something light and from another time. And we're going to be talking about a writer I don't think we've talked about before, but some other folks that we have. And we'll have lots of extra stuff that we post in the Facebook group. You'll get to meet other listeners of the podcast. And yeah, it's just a fun place to hang out. And if you have suggestions for books and movies for upcoming episodes that you would like to let me know about, you can email them to me at bookversusmoviepodcast@gmail.com. So, Caroline, could you reintroduce yourself to folks who maybe this is their first time finding us here?
I am Margo's favorite person besides her husband and her kids.
That's actually true.
What's that?
I said that's actually true.
And I live in Montana, and I have 3 kids, and they're all grown up, and I am visiting my parents right now, thus the living room. And there's pictures of my dad, who passed away about a year ago, a couple days ago. And it's great to be in California, and it's great to be with you. And that's my life, and that's me.
All right. Fine. He also does a lot of really cool stuff. I guess she's not talking about it today. That's fine. That's fine.
I declutter?
Yes, you do. That's so huge. And she was doing it way before Marie Kondo. Let me just say. Saying.
I think it's been 24 years that I've been.
I believe it.
Yeah, Ruben was 1 year old. Oh, 26 years almost, because he's about to be 26. Okay. So, wow. Sorry. That's my son, Ruben.
Yeah. My godson. So I'm going to show this book again because there's a lot of episodes that we've done that come out of this book. And there's still some that we've never done. This is a book called Adaptations from Short Story to Big Screen. It's a compilation by Stephanie Harrison, 35 great stories that have inspired great films. Here's the cover. Yep.
And Margo had what am I saying? I bought this book because of Margo, and I'm very excited I have it.
It's great. There's lots of, I will say this too, that Margo D found this book and sent it to me a super long time ago. And I did want to mention that as I was kind of reviewing it and going, oh, we did that one. And we did the Fly is in here.
The Swimmer.
The Swimmer. And And I think every short story that we've gotten out of here has been really good. I don't think there's been one where I was like, oh, this story's just okay. The stories that they've chosen, and there are other movies that are based on short stories, but this compilation is a really super good one. And
Nice.
it's organized by theme. So like all the horror stories are together, and all the political stories are together. Bringing Up Baby is in a section of the book called The Good, the Bad, and the Unadaptable. And I couldn't agree more. There are 3 stories in that section. One, as you just mentioned, is The Swimmer, by John Cheever, right? Yeah, by John Cheever. It's a wonderful movie with Burt Lancaster. And I remember when we read The Swimmer, we were like, how on earth do you make a movie out of this story?
Yeah.
I don't know. And the second one is Babylon Revisited by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is another one that you read, and it takes place over a tremendous number of years. And the backdrop, you're in Paris during the war and after the war, and they're a very wealthy family. And again, like you read it and you're like, how on earth would you? And it is a very, one day we'll do this film. It's one of my favorite cheesy films. It's Elizabeth Taylor at her absolute Elizabeth Taylorist. It's Van Johnson, and Van Johnson playing like a Ernest Hemingway type character. And what is your name? Zsa Zsa Gabor, I think, is in this as well. And it's called The Last Time I Saw Paris. It is very dramatic. I can't say it's a great film, but anyway, one day we'll do it. And the last story in this section of unadaptable films is Bringing Up Baby by Hagar Wilde. And we've never talked about Hagar Wilde before. She's not that well known. There's not that much available about her. She was born, her name is actually Beverly Violet Bidwell.
Okay.
I'm not sure how we got to the name Hagar Wilde. It's her professional writing name.
Okay.
She was born in Toledo, Ohio. She died at the age of 66 in California.
Whoa.
She was married a couple of times, 3 times, and she's most known for Bringing Up Baby, and another really well-known film of after the war, I Was a Male War Bride. But Bringing Up Baby was a story that she wrote, and I think it came out originally in Collier's magazine. And this film, like the story of this film, is kind of it's almost as screwy as the story and the plot. But let's talk a little bit about the actual story, because it's much simpler than the movie, isn't it?
Yes.
So tell me what you thought about it.
Well, first of all, I agree with you that it was a great book to read right now, or a great story to read right now, because it's so light. It was just so okay. Our greatest worry is a panther. In the book, it's a panther. The movie,
yeah, in the book, it's a panther. Mm-hmm.
And I wondered, when I saw the leopard, I was like, I wonder why they have a leopard. And then when you see the dog and the leopard playing, I was like, I bet this is a training issue. And then I did go and read, and they said they could only find a leopard that was this.
It's amazing that they did. Yeah, that they even were able to find that. Any big cat without that tame. But yeah,
I love the writing style. I immediately just Hagar was just so quick-witted. Mm-hmm. I mean, just like there's a couple quotes that I marked, and so at one point they're trying to get the panther, and they're trying to get the dog at George, who is very, very grumpy, and so Susan says to David, the 2 main characters, she says, grab him. And David said, you grab him. You know him better. And Susan said, that's why I won't grab him. And it's just, there's things like that. There's a scene where should I be talking about the plot? I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. You can talk about the plot. We should say too that the story opens. It's not a long story.
No.
Even for a short story, it's not a long story.
Yeah.
And it opens with David and Susan, and they're already engaged. There's nothing about dinosaurs. We're not in a museum. There's nothing about the $1 million. It's just, I don't think so, right? Does that
no, it's just about the panther. Yeah.
It's just about the panther. So they're well off. And Susan, one day, they're engaged to be married, and she gets a panther in the mail, basically, from her brother, who was an explorer. And she's like, what am I doing with this panther? And hijinks ensue. And there's a lot of it is very fast paced in a very similar way to the movie. You know, when people talk about this movie, they talk about the pace of it and the overlapping dialogue. And there's a lot of that in this original story. A lot of the original dialogue from the story makes it into the movie. And Hagar did work on the screenplay, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But we've got Aunt Elizabeth and George the dog. It's a much leaner story, but it is just chasing a panther. And the thing about singing "I Can't Give You Anything But Love," that is also in the short story, because the panther's name is Baby. And so Susan has
the panther, and then she finds out last minute. She should have known weeks ago, but she just finds out that her Aunt Elizabeth is coming to visit her, and she has to get rid of the panther because Aunt Elizabeth has once again put her and her brother back in her will. So, and it's all going to be fine. But then Aunt Elizabeth says, come out to Connecticut and bring your boyfriend. And so they have to smuggle this panther. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting.
I know it is. If you know them in the movie, it's so clearly a leopard that.
Yeah. And so they smuggle the panther to the country, and do they put him in a room? In the movie, it's like a barn, but I think they put him in a room.
I think it's in a room. Yeah.
And then they call the zoo because David's like, we just have to get rid of this panther.
And this is in the film too. This whole thing about the zoo. Like, what do we do? Oh, I know. We'll call the local zoo, which is a good idea. We'll come and get the panther. And then the aunt says, she goes back out to the end. The aunt's like, oh, your brother didn't even send me the panther he promised to send me. And she realizes, oh no. So yeah, there's the same kind of mix up with the law enforcement getting involved, and the phone call about where's your niece? Oh, she's in bed. We have a clip about that from the film coming up, but it is just this farcical, a panther in Connecticut, in the spare room.
Yeah. Another quote that I was going to, or another point to the story that I really liked, that there's all this hijinks going on, and Aunt Elizabeth is playing cards with Susan. And so Susan gets a little bit distracted, and it says here, Aunt Elizabeth slipped a 10 into the king space. And then a couple paragraphs later, there's all this other conversation, and then Aunt Elizabeth slipping a queen into a king space. And then Susan runs to the door to answer the doorbell, and it says Aunt Elizabeth took advantage of her absence to cheat on a large scale. She'd practically run her cards out. When Susan returned, and then they're like, oh, it's from Mark. This is when they find out that the panther is supposed to go to Aunt Elizabeth. And then as Aunt Elizabeth is reading it, she says to Susan, don't play until I've read it. It's not fair. And I just love that, just this detail of all this stuff is happening. And then the aunt is just like cheating, and so then that is like the hijinks of the the movie, that there's all these layers of things going on. So I
So
like
many.
that.
I mean, there, and that is something that is totally in this story where you have these layers of action. Um, and the movie just kind of cranks it all the way up to 100. Now, the way that the movie, so Hagar Wilde was, I gather, a writer who was kind of in and around Hollywood at the time,
Okay.
and so she knew. I think she and Howard Hawks knew each other somehow, and he liked the story. I mean, it's a great story, and saw it in Collier's Weekly. He did also bring in Dudley Nichols. What I was going to mention, though, before this was that Howard Hawks actually was supposed to do Gunga Din. He was supposed to direct Gunga Din at this point in his career. Howard Hawks is somebody we've talked about quite a bit on the show. He was born in 1896. He died in 1977. He's done so many famous films. His filmography is vast and varied. He's one of these directors who's known for working in every conceivable genre. He's a master of comedy. He's a master of action. We talked about him before. I'm going to forget some of them, but I know we talked about him for The Big Sleep, which is a film noir, mystery, and also Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which is like totally the other end of the spectrum. It's a musical with Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell. And he was supposed to direct Gunga Din, if I recall. That's the one. And for some reason, like, the pieces just didn't come together. The actors that they wanted weren't available at that time. And so he I think he needed to come up with something in a hurry to do. And so he found this story. He really liked it. And he brings in Hagar Wilde to write the screenplay, along with Dudley Nichols, who I think had also worked with Howard Hawks on some other stuff. Supposedly, allegedly, Hagar Wilde and Dudley Nichols had themselves a little fling.
Ooh!
Yeah. And
nice.
It's like I said, they take the nugget of the story and they build it and build it and build it out and add all of these themes, and it's a roller coaster, this film. And it wasn't very popular when it came out.
Oh.
And I couldn't find like a definitive reason why, but the most kind of solid theory that I found was some critics said that there's no character who's a normie. All of the characters are kooky kooks of one kind or another.
Gotcha.
The sheriff's a kook. The aunt's a kook. Her friend's a kook. Everyone's a kook. There's no normal person who's like the stand-in for the audience.
Yeah.
And maybe, and this was, audiences hadn't seen a lot of films like this yet. It's 1938. It's the Depression. And so consequently, this was, I think, one of the films that it was Katherine Hepburn's first comedy, and it's one of the films that led to her being labeled box office poison.
How rude.
And I know, so rude, right? It's so awful. It's such an awful term. And Margo and I have talked about this numerous times as we've come across usually a woman who has been called box office poison. It was almost always leveled at women, not completely, but most of the time it was leveled at women. And the interesting thing about it, though, because Katherine Hepburn is nothing if not resilient.
Yes.
And so because they had labeled her box office poison, and now her value to the studio had gone down so much, she bought out her contract, and that really allowed her to be as choosy with her projects as she gets to be, basically, from there on out. This is, if I didn't mention before, one of 4 films that she makes with Cary Grant. I cannot remember all of them.
Come on, Margo. Come on.
Well, one of them is
No,
definitely the
kidding.
Philadelphia Story, which we
Okay.
did a while back. And but this is her first comedy. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is her first comedy.
I think you're right. I think I read that in Wikipedia.
And she does an amazing job. She really handles this extremely difficult, fast-paced dialogue plus physical comedy.
Yes.
Which she is very, very good at, it turns out.
Yes.
You can see it in this film, and you can see it in Philadelphia Story, even in things like The Lion in Winter. Like she is a Stitch in that movie, and she's just with these little movements that she's a very wonderful physical actor. So supposedly this film, because well, one of the things was that the script was about twice the length of a normal script.
Oh.
Why? Because you have so much dialogue. We're speaking it really fast. It's shooting the same amount of time as a normal script.
Got it.
Or maybe not, maybe a little longer, but still people are talking fast and they're saying many things and they're talking over each other. Plus you have to have descriptions of all of the many, many, many physical gags.
Yeah.
What is the leopard doing?
Right. So Margo, this is the Hamilton of the Depression. Do you know?
Okay, go on. I'm listening.
Do you know that like somebody said that if Hamilton was a play and they weren't rapping, it would have just been this extreme. I don't know how long the play would have been. And
it would have been very long. That's true.
It would be long. So here we have the Hamilton where this very long script, goes into an hour and 40-minute movie. That was.
So let's talk about our cast. The cast is outstanding. There is not a weak link in this cast.
Nope.
Katherine Hepburn is Susan Vance. Cary Grant is Dr. David Huxley with the glasses. How adorable is he?
So cute.
The script was written specifically with Katherine Hepburn in mind. I don't know. I don't know how she knew she had a relationship with Howard Hawks. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was specifically written for her. That's why they're like Cary Grant was the fourth or fifth choice. I mean, who else would you get? I don't know. Like, what were you thinking? But he was his character, Cary Grant's character, and we've talked before about his acrobatic background. His character is based on silent film star Harold Lloyd. Howard Hawks started in movies started in like props when he was about 20 years old. So his first films that he directed were silent films. So he was very, very entrenched in that time in Hollywood. He had a super long career, many eras of filmmaking. And so Cary Grant's character with those specific kind of spectacles are very much a nod to Harold Lloyd, who I believe visited the set at one point. We've got Mary Robeson, who is Aunt Elizabeth. Elizabeth Carlton Random, which is not her name in the original story, but my Aunt Random. I love it. I love it.
And of course, she looks exactly how you picture her when you read the short story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
With the jewels and just perfect. Charles Ruggles as her friend. She has this friend in the movie, Major Horace Applegate, who was a big game hunter. Our Constable Slocum is Walter Catlett. Barry Fitzgerald. Oh, Barry Fitzgerald is Aloysius Gogarty, Mrs. Random's gardener, her Scottish gardener, who is. I always laugh out loud when he comes on the scene when he's like he's trying to he's going to box with the police officers. We've got David in the film when it opens is engaged to his he's a paleontologist. He's engaged to his paleontology, I don't know, assistant, colleague. I don't know exactly what she is, but she's also a paleontologist. Her name is Alice Swallow. She's played by Virginia Walker. We have George Irving, who is Mr. Peabody, who is Mrs. Random's lawyer. And let's see, who else have we got? Those are the main ones. Okay. There's so many scenes in this film and so many things that happen and so many locations. We open with David and Alice Swallow, his assistant, and they're supposedly it's the Museum of Natural History. I'm assuming we're supposed to be in New York City, because then they go to Connecticut, right? So, and he's building, there's this giant, dinosaur skeleton. He's building a brontosaurus, which didn't they decide that wasn't actually a thing?
I have no idea.
Hold on. Stand by, everybody, while I check. Is a brontosaurus real? It's the first thing people Google. Brontosaurus does not exist.
Margo, you're just an encyclopedia of knowledge.
I'm not, but I have fingers that work and a phone. So anyway, so he's building this quote unquote brontosaurus, and he needs this one last bone, and it's called the
something clavicle,
which is a made up word. The name of this bone it is not a real bone that actually exists in any anatomy in any creature, let alone a brontosaurus that doesn't exist. In the film, he's like waiting for this precious last bone, and for much of the film, he's got this bone with him in a box, and he has the bone. He just has it on his person. It's so important to him. I don't know why he doesn't immediately put it where it belongs or maybe, I don't know, but he's carrying this bone. The bone is a major plot device, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think, I was trying to remember where it got sent to him, but yeah, I don't know where he was. Was he in Connecticut when it got mailed to him?
I don't remember where he got the bone in the package in the mail. Anyway.
A deliverer guy came and handed him the bone.
We have not meet cute, because she's pretty annoying when they first meet at the golf course. So he has an appointment. He's going to get married in a few days, and his fiance is like, yeah, that's fine, but before that, you need to secure the $1 million donation to the museum. Don't forget, you have a golf date with that rich lady's lawyer, so you better go play golf with him. Now, I forgot to mention this, and I tried to find a clip of it. I've seen this movie so many times, and there were so many things I noticed this time that I never noticed before. I had in my last career of many, my last career when I worked in public media, my boss was, she was of Venezuelan descent, and she had grown up in the Bronx. Her family came to the Bronx from Venezuela, I think in the 1950s. And she was telling me one day that so she's a little immigrant Venezuelan girl, about kindergarten age, I think. And when she would do something, and she was very smart, that the teacher found commendable, the teacher would say to her, well, that was awfully white of you.
Oh my God.
As a compliment.
Oh, I just know that's not anything close to what I thought you were going to say.
No. Ooh. And when she told me that, my reaction was pretty much what yours is. So here I'm watching this scene, and Virginia Swallow, or Alice Swallow, the fiance who's all business, is saying to she's saying to David, the paleontologist played by Cary Grant, don't forget, it was really hard for us to get this golf date for you. This is a huge deal. You could secure $1 million, which is about $23 million in today's money. You could secure $1 million for the museum. And, Mr. Peabody was nice enough to allow you to join you for his golf game. And Cary Grant says, and he says it very quickly, but he's like, oh, he did. That was mighty white of him. Something like that. And I was like, what? And I rewound it and watched it again. And I was like, wait a minute. And I rewound it. I turned the captions on. That is definitely what he says.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So there we are.
Does
Another
it
time.
mean something other than what we think?
I couldn't find any evidence that it does.
Okay.
Pretty much means what we think it means. Pretty
Yep.
much what they mean. Yeah, good, like white.
Generous, white, good, nice.
So,
Yuck.
while he's on the golf course, he runs into Katherine Hepburn. They have this farcical mix up with the cars. She's driving off in his car, which I happens. That's how Harold and Maude. That's how they meet in Harold and Maude. Is Maude drive? I believe they meet at a funeral, but then she drives off in his car. And I don't remember if she picks him up anyway. Yeah. So this movie is so borrowed from all over the place. It was also the inspiration for Peter Bogdanovich's What's Up Doc with Barbra Streisand. So they go to the golf course. There's this whole, again, she's very annoying. She's super annoying. And she's stealing his car.
Yeah.
And blowing his chances. He never gets to have golf with Mr. Peabody. But Mr. Peabody is mighty white and agrees to meet him for dinner. So I guess it's at this social club or something. So it's very, very fancy. And we see before he arrives that she is also there. Susan, Katherine Hepburn's character, is also, and she's wearing this metallic dress with this kooky veil thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's weird, but you can't take your eyes off of her. She's just great.
Yeah.
And they meet again. He's like, oh, you again. And there's a whole nother little very annoying mix up where she gets him into trouble. And then she accidentally rips his jacket, the back of his very fancy dress jacket rips open. And well, let me show you. I think we have a clip.
Oh, good.
Let's do the clip.
While you're doing that, I can tell you that when in the first scene where David's talking to his assistant, that's all business, and they're getting married in a couple days, and he finds out that his marriage won't, quote, include any physical entanglement.
That's right.
All he says is, gee whiz.
Yeah. She's like, that's not important. What's really important is your work and that we get that $1 million for the museum. It's so funny. Okay, so this is such a brilliant little scene. Let's just watch and listen. Now, supposedly that something like that really happened to Cary Grant.
Oh gosh.
And that's where they got the idea for that bit where he genuinely had to walk behind her out of the place like that. And just all of the emotions, the dialogue of how would you even keep up? I don't know. But there's the physical comedy of the tearing and the walking, and there's also some business with his hat. That's really great. But in this conversation that they have, she's in trouble when she rips his jacket, and she realizes,
right.
now this genuinely is my fault. Maybe the car thing wasn't my fault, but this is totally my fault. And she's contrite, and then hurt when he asks her to disappear, and then indignant when she, all of these emotions in this tiny little scene that's just crammed in there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was a great scene to pick, because you're right that there's just so many emotions going on. So
we forgot to mention also the two of the biggest stars of the whole movie, the dog.
Oh, George.
I don't remember who the name of this dog, but this dog was a very, very famous dog. And we talked about him when Margo and I discussed The Thin Man. That was the role that he was best known for, was playing Asta the dog in the Thin Man movies. And he was what's that? Benji, when we were
Right.
kids. There was a dog, Benji, that was in all these films, just super well-trained dog. And audiences would have recognized George as Asta the dog. He was that big of a star that they would have realized that that's who it was, and that would have been like a fun little Easter egg for people. And then we have not enough credit. I think if anyone has gotten a bum rap, I mean, I know they called her box office poison, but if anyone has gotten a bum rap or has been overlooked in this film, it is Nisa the leopard.
Yes.
The most famous leopard in movie history. So what you see on this film, and this is the other thing that was such a big deal that I don't understand why audiences didn't just like jump out of their, just go and see it again and again.
Right.
One of the really neat things about this film is all of the effects, because you have a genuine live leopard on the set.
Yeah.
A real for real actual leopard.
And they have that scene where the leopard is playing with the dog.
Yeah,
and
that's really happening.
It was just like, oh my gosh, is that dog? I had to rewind and watch that several times because I was like, wait, that dog just flipped over the leopard? Yeah, it was crazy.
It's because the both of them are such brilliant, smart animals and that are so well trained. So Nisa the leopard. So there are two leopard characters in the movie. There's Baby, and there's also supposedly a leopard that is a circus leopard that looks just like Baby, that has accidentally been let loose in the town where the aunt lives. And they also sometimes used a stuffed leopard puppet thing that they made where, where the Baby has to be like right there. The whole time that Baby was on set, her trainer, who was named Madame Olga Celeste. Madame Olga Celeste was, if Baby was there, Madame Olga Celeste was there with a whip in hand, just in case.
Got it.
And Baby took a real shine to Katherine Hepburn, really liked Katherine Hepburn. Katherine Hepburn really liked her. And, or Nisa, I should say, her real name is Nisa. And so those scenes where she's like just kind of nicely petting her, like she's really doing that. Yeah, that is really happening.
Insane.
There was one moment, and I don't know at what point in filming it happened, but at one point, and I don't know if it's that dress, the costumes are gorgeous. Really great costumes in this film.
Yeah.
There's at one point where Katherine Hepburn is wearing a dress that they've sewn into it some metal, I don't know, metal thread, metal something. It had some kind of metal components to it. And it's a scene where she's with Baby, and she turned in a way, the dress like made of something, like they do with the cape and the bowl. And it set Baby off, and Baby started to like lunge at her, and because Madame Celeste is right there, she's like with the whip and stopped anything bad from happening. But after that, they were more careful. Cary Grant, not fond of the leopard. Did not enjoy the leopard. And it's a wonderful scene, and I don't know, do I have that scene? Let me see if I have it. I don't think I do. But when he first sees the leopard, like she's telling him, like, there's a leopard in the bathroom. Oh, we should say, so they have these two dust ups, one at the golf course, one at the social club. And I think she calls him to apologize, and she realizes suddenly that she's very attracted to this man, and she actually is gonna go after him in her kooky screwball way that she has.
Yes.
So she's got
doesn't she discovers that she loves him when he steps on her foot to get her to be quiet, and then she does, he loves me not, he loves me not. And then she's like, oh, he loves me. And then it was, I guess that She was still trying to get him to stay before that because she had hidden his clothes. Yeah.
She goes all through these machinations to get him into her life, like that Beatles song, and hang on to him, especially when she finds out that he's engaged. But she calls him because she's got this leopard and she knows that he's a paleontologist. He's a scientist that knows things about animals.
That's right.
And maybe somehow he can get me in touch with it, which I think is a great plot device. So she calls him and then she pretends like she's being attacked by the leopard. And she hides the leopard in the bathroom when he arrives. And she's like, he shows up. He's like, where's this leopard you were talking to me about? Oh, I should have known you were just putting me on. And she's like, no, it's in the bathroom. And there's this great moment where he opens the bathroom door, sees the leopard, and he screams this high-pitched girly scream. And so that was his real scream.
That was not acting.
Not acting. And supposedly Katherine Hepburn, while they were filming, pranked him by lowering the stuffed leopard into his dressing room, which he did not enjoy or appreciate. But it's just this wonderful. And so once she realizes that she loves him, that it's all just a ploy to keep him away from her fiance, keep him in Connecticut. And then they lose the leopard and they lose his precious bone. So let's I'm going to show this little clip. This is, I think, once they've arrived in Connecticut and she is worried that he's going to leave and go back to the city. He's grab his bone and go back to his, and there's a lot of double entendre, the whole thing about it's a lot. So let's watch that film, that clip. It's okay. This one. How about I forgot about the little glimpse of naked Cary Grant in silhouette. How about that?
There's some rather high opening of the robe as well. Yeah. On Katherine Hepburn as well. I was like, whoa, that's...
Well, when the back of her dress comes off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those are underpants of the day.
Oh my gosh.
It's very risque. And he says then that was like a throwaway line of his. She's asked why he's wearing a woman's robe. And he says, oh, I don't know. I just all of a sudden went gay. I went gay all of a sudden. And some historians think that this is the first reference to homosexuality in dialogue in a Hollywood movie. I don't know if that's actually true, but
right.
But I couldn't find I couldn't find anywhere where they said, oh no, he didn't actually mean homosexual. Like, it seems like, no, that's really what he was referring to, because it is a woman's robe that he's wearing. So yeah, the dog, the leopard, the other leopard, the ant, the kooky ant is here now. So it's a lot. It's frenetic. The ant has a friend who was also a kook. David said, and it all works. Like, there's no like holes in it.
No.
David says to Susan, don't tell your aunt who I am, because I'm still trying to get this donation to the museum. And if she sees me in your robe and, running around here with a panther, like, I'm never going to get that money. And then what's going to happen? So, yeah, they're chasing this panther in the Connecticut night. There's all kinds of stuff too, where they go to the lawyer's house in the middle of the night and throw rocks at the window. It's just bananas, and at one point they're sitting down and the dog steals the bone. The dog steals his precious bone.
Yes.
So now we're also digging up holes all over Connecticut in the night. And it is just everybody. You almost lose the thread almost lose the thread of what's happening. But they do kind of, there's also a lot of like, you mean to tell me that you're her niece? Da, 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 da. There's also a lot of, for the audience's benefit, giving us a lot of reiteration of where we are in the plot and what is happening.
Right.
You mean to say there's 2 leopards? Once they get picked up by the police, then the train starts to slow down a little bit and things start to sort themselves out a bit. At what point I've suddenly forgotten, at what point does she confess her feelings for him? Do you remember? I can't believe I'm just blanking on that all of a sudden. She's telling everybody, she tells her aunt, like, this is the man I love. I'm going to marry him. Meanwhile, her aunt thinks that this is somebody else. She says that he's a big game hunter named Mr. or Dr. Bone, again, with the bone. And the aunt's friend that she's brought to the country with her also just happens to be a big game hunter.
Yes.
So when they're hunting for the leopard, he's bringing a gun.
Margo, I cannot remember.
Is it not till the very, very end?
I'm trying to think if it was that last scene. I'm trying to think.
I have one more clip. I have one more clip of them in the jail. I just want to show, because the jail is, I think the jail is the one location where pretty much everybody who was in this movie is in that jail. So
right.
You have the aunt has been locked up because they don't believe it's the aunt. The niece Susan has been locked up because they don't believe it's the niece. And this is also in the original story, but it's just like on steroids here. Cary Grant, he's in jail. Then the lawyer shows up that they knocked out with the rock earlier. He shows up because he's the aunt's lawyer. He's trying to straighten it out. Then these 2 men come in from the circus to say that they're looking for their escaped leopard. So let's take a look at this scene.
Okay. While you're getting that ready, I will amaze you with another quote, which is more towards the beginning of the movie when David and Susan first meet, and he's like, I got to get away from you. And she's like, no, she's trying to, keep him in the adventure. And he says to her, in moments of quiet, I'm strongly drawn towards you, but there haven't been any quiet moments.
It's such good dialogue.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay. Let's watch a little bit of the jail scene. Out at the end of the scene for those of you who are just listening. So that's where they realize that they love each other.
Yes.
Or at least realizes she's like in actual danger.
Yeah. I didn't, the first time I watched that, now seeing that scene for the second time, now you could see where the leopard's on the table and the aunt and Cary Grant are talking, and you're like, oh yeah, that leopard's not in the scene with them in real life. Yeah.
They do a lot of very clever split screen. And again, like using a stuffed. Yeah. It is genuinely very good.
Yeah.
There's even moments where I'm like not entirely sure if they're doing a split screen or not, but that scene in particular you can kind of tell. But I mean, it's 1938. Come on,
it's good
not
stuff.
Bad. So David though is a good, honorable guy, and even though his fiance has said to him, "Hey, this is not necessarily, this is more like a business arrangement," that I don't know what's going on with Alice Swallow, but something's happening there.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
I'm saying she is engaged to Cary Grant.
I know.
And she's like, meh. Really though?
No
with
kid,
these bones.
No physical relations.
None.
Yeah. She's a serious lady. Very serious.
Very serious.
Yes.
So they, at the very end, Alice, he at this point thinks that he's just blown everything. He's blown the $1 million. He now is in love with somebody he's not going to marry because he's an honorable man. I think he's pretty much planning to go through with the marriage because he had said that he would. And so, yeah, so she rushes back in. She rushes in at the very last minute to the museum and explains everything. And then
this is Susan.
Yeah. And so Susan and you, the audience too, I think are thinking, well, like, how's this going to play out? Because they love each other, and he's really going to marry Alice Swallow. Like, okay, but doesn't seem like why it seems bad for everybody for that to be the end of their story. So let's just watch. I know it's a lot of clips, but it's
because
dumb to
again,
describe
it's the physical comedy.
Yeah, it's the physical comedy.
Yeah.
And so what we're seeing, for those of you who are listening, this scene takes place back at the Museum of Natural History, back with these fully, quote unquote, constructed, quote unquote, brontosaur that we said many times. Again, they really help the audience out here with the dialogue. The audience by this point knows he has spent how many years of his life? 4 years of his life putting this brontosaurus together like a jigsaw puzzle. It is to be the triumph of his career. He just needs that clavicle made up bone,
metatarsal,
something clavicle, and it's a tongue twister, and they all say it really fast, which is fun.
Yeah.
And here's what happens. And that's the end of the movie. There's not like a lot of kissing and hugging and yet, as I think they mentioned in the AMC thing at the very beginning, they use the dialogue to build the sexual tension between the two of them, and I think very effectively.
Yeah, yeah. I love the way the bones look like paper mache.
They really look like paper mache.
And then also, I noticed this time watching it when you said they really spell things out. When he says, "Oh, I should thank you. That was the most marvelous day." And you're like, that was what? Was that just one day? Because he went golfing and then he went to the night. Maybe it was 2 days.
Well, I think it's 2 days.
There was an overnight. Yeah, there was an overnight. Yeah.
Yeah, because the leopard showing up is the following day after the incident at the club.
Yeah.
That's but from there on, it is, I think, 1 day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's like, let's just go out to Connecticut, and then they're stuck there.
Yeah, that was great. Did you like the book or the movie better?
I like the movie better, of course, but the story is very, very good.
Yes.
I wish there were more things of hers to read.
Yeah. I read the book first, and I thought, yeah, this is cute. And sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that.
No, but it's true.
But and like I said, I really loved the dialogue and the layering of the little things happening. And then when the movie started, I was like, oh, this is so good. This is so good. And to take, like you were saying earlier, just to add all these different elements onto the story. And you're right, there were no holes. Everything looped around. It all story
works out.
Just finished. Yeah. So, yeah,
You're not like, well, what about the circus? They got their leopard back. They caught the leopard. Like, the circus is fine. It's a great script.
It really is. It really is. So I agree.
Box office poison. Apparently.
Yeah, and she was so good at the physical comedy. So good. There was a beautiful scene where they're going through the woods to find the leopard. No, they're finding the
dog.
No, they're finding baby because they come to the house and they're singing the song, and she keeps getting swatted in the face with the branches. Cary Grant's going before her, and he keeps letting go of the branches, and they keep hitting her in the face until she just starts crawling. And she's just brilliant. So
it's really a leap forward for her. I mean, she was already a pretty substantial star. And I was thinking about when she was in Little Women, which is 5 years before this. And so, she's already like really good with dialogue. She can do that switching back and forth. But this level of physical comedy is really impressive. Really, really impressive. And something that she just continues to do for the rest of her career. I mean, she could do anything. She can do absolutely anything. I just love her.
Yeah.
So movie.
Yay!
Movie. The winner is movie.
Yay!
Now, people can, I was going to say, where can people find you online is what I usually say to people, but they can find you in the Book versus Movie Facebook group.
Yes, they can find
there.
me there. I still haven't done anything with my YouTube or my mug business or nothing new there. So
Okay.
yeah, just find me here. I'm in 2 videos with Margo.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, thank you, everybody. I hope this was a fun, diversion from life. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back soon with another new episode.
Yay! Thank you, Margo, so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining the conversation. The Book versus Movie podcast was started in 2014 by friends Margo P. and Margo D., who lived on opposite coasts and wanted an excuse to stay in touch and read more. We sadly lost our good friend and co-host Margo D. in July of 2025. We celebrate her wit, friendship, and love of history as we continue on this digital road with you. Margo D's books Filmed in Brooklyn and Fever, The Complete History of Saturday Night Fever, are available wherever fine books are sold. Follow Margo P on social media at She's Not Your Mama, and you can email us at bookversusmoviepodcast@gmail.com. Now, if you'll excuse me, my IBS is acting up. Thanks for being here.